This video will be a quick overview on AS rep roasting, and we'll go through the attack process using Impacket on Kali and Rubius on Windows. In summary, AS rep roasting abuses the feature of Kerberos authentication when pre-authentication is disabled for a domain user. Pre-authentication is the first step in Kerberos authentication, which by default is enabled for domain users in Active Directory. So the question is, why would a user's domain account have pre-auth disabled? And that's mainly for third-party legacy systems that don't support the Kerberos pre-authentication feature. And some might actually be users that have had it disabled a long time ago for applications that are really no longer in use. Pre-authentication can be disabled through Active Directory users and computers. And in our demo, rats is the one user in the domain with pre-authentication disabled. This demo is also presented with one of the domains in the Sprawl range at SlayerLabs.com, which contains 41 VMs, 4 domains, and is rated intermediate to difficult. So if you'd like to get experience on keyboard attacking Kerberos in a purposely vulnerable network, it's already set up for you. Be sure to check out more info at SlayerLabs.com and request access if interested. This diagram depicts the default process of pre-authentication enabled. Normally with pre-auth enabled, the user sends the authentication server, i.e. KDC or domain controller, an authentication server request. This contains client identifiable information that the KDC or DC will later decrypt and verify. It's encrypted using a key which is generated by encrypting a timestamp with the user's password hash. So that's all done on the client side. So being for the sake of argument, only the client and KDC knows that password hash. So once it arrives to the KDC, it's decrypted with the password hash, and it runs through that verification process. If that verification process is successful, the authentication server responds, or AS rep, is sent back to the client, in which they will need their password to decrypt. So again, that's the normal process with pre-auth enabled. And again, that's default for domain users. Now with pre-auth disabled, that whole decryption process and verification process that KDC initially does is skipped. An AS rep is sent back to the client who originally requested that TGT, then can be cracked offline to obtain the intended user's password. And we'll demo this here in Impacket and Rubius. So this initial AS request, authentication server request of a specific user can be sent by basically any client with network access. This example is using Impacket get MP user script or get non-pre-auth user script. So we'll need to specify the user we want to check for disabled pre-auth, and if true, we'll return their ticket. We'll also want to include the DCIP and no pass to not trigger a failed login attempt. And running it results in the encrypted ticket returned back to us. By default, it's returned to us in hashcat format. We can also set the format flag and set it to John. And here's just a quick example of cracking it with John. So next is an example of using an alternate fully qualified username and password to hit AD and check for all users with pre-auth disabled. Then you can add the request flag to actually request the tickets. And in this case, it's just the one user. And now we'll demo AS rep roasting with Rubius. And in the help menu, there are a few options. And here, like last example, we are off domain. We'll use the target user along with the domain name and DC IP, similar to InPacket. And running, we see the output in hashcat format. And next we'll just showcase what would happen if you did not include a user you wanted to check for pre-auth status. Since we're off domain and did not include a user, Rubius thought we were trying to search AD for all users with pre-auth disabled. Now since we're just hanging out on the network and have no authorization to search AD, Rubius throws us a well-deserved error. And again, like InPacket example, we use known credentials to search AD for all pre-auth disabled users. And as expected, our results are of the one user. And lastly, just a quick showcase the results of an example of a domain joined machine with a domain joined user logged in. We'll just run Rubius straightforward with the ASREP rep roast flag. And that covers it for this video. Thanks for watching.